Hi friends, Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. We are your home for Caribbean weather. Great to see you on this Monday. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. Our first full week of videos back with the new Meteo Mundo and the new look in the books. Appreciate all the kind words and the comments as we again have made this a very simple, easy to understand daily forecast video for you with a lot of information at your fingertips. That's the whole reason why we went through the redesign. So I'm not going to spend as much time going over what you're seeing on your screen as I did last week, but if you're just tuning in, on the left-hand side of your screen is going to be headlines, the big weather stories I'll be covering in today's video. The bottom of your screen, that ticker, is going to have all of the impactful weather across our area. Watches, warnings, advisories, marine statements, and of course, I'll detail more of those coming up as well. And your 5-day forecast across more than 45 cities in our area. Don't have to now stop the video to go island by island with your rain chances. The full 5-day forecast, sky conditions, the daily highs, both in Fahrenheit and Celsius, we'll be scrolling there. And about halfway through the video, we'll switch it over to the marine forecast. So let's get started with what's going on. I want to talk about the Eastern Caribbean to begin this video. Winds are picking up, seas are picking up, and rain chances are going higher. Numbers that you see on the screen right now, those are going to be your wind gusts in miles an hour for Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands on this Monday afternoon. Those winds have been very fresh, 25, 30, even 35 miles an hour. It's pulled in some moisture, but it's also increased, of course, the sea conditions as well. So just be aware if you're a small vessel going out in some of the offshore waters. But these winds have been fairly prominent across the area for today, and it has spelled some rain. Let me show you that right now for the live radar out of Puerto Rico. Showers have been developing all afternoon long. They're getting a little bit more concentrated at the hour on the western side of the island from Uti Alto to San Sebastian and Aguadilla. It's the easterlies pulling in these showers, so all this activity is going to move from east to west. Look, I don't expect the rain to be concentrated enough to cause any big problems and issues when it comes to flash flooding, but there could be some pockets of localized flooding with some of the heavier downpours, but most areas will likely see under an inch of rain or 25 millimeters. If anything, this rain is fairly beneficial. It's going to cool things off because when it's not been raining, it's been extremely hot. If you take a look at the feels like temperatures out of the area right now, Ponce, which hasn't had a lot of rain today, feels like temperature of around 96 degrees. So, it's a problem when it hasn't been raining. Scattered showers will continue across the Virgin Islands as well. A few passing showers for St. Croix. And if you guys live in these areas, let me know in the comments section below. You'll see on the 5-day forecast as we move through the eastern side of the Caribbean, rain chances will be higher through Wednesday. You can see the Valley Anguilla, 60% chance for showers tomorrow, still 54 on Wednesday. Again, this is my forecast, my customized forecast for you across the Caribbean and the Bahamas. Spend a lot of time each day coming up and working and, massaging that forecast, if you will. So I hope you appreciate that. We continue to see scattered showers across St. John and St. Thomas with a few more for the Virgin Islands. And again, the moisture quality is slightly higher, but it's still shallow moisture. So this isn't going to spell a lot of rain in any one area for the most part, but there are going to be some quick passing showers, and some areas might even get a couple of passing showers locally in a daily basis. Going to go back out to the broad perspective here real quickly, just throw back on these wind gusts and then get back into it because I want to get back into the Antilles. If you go into St. Bart's today, they had a 37-mile-an-hour breeze. Even St. Eustatius had some pretty solid winds as well. So from Anguilla to St. Martin, St. Bart's, Antigua, Barbuda, fast-moving showers. Even higher rain chances will be coming in on Tuesday and Wednesday as well, so keep that in mind. Elevated sea conditions in the windward sides of the islands. Guadeloupe, Dominica, moderate rain chances the next couple of days. Martinique and St. Lucia as well. Barbados is an area, when you look at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see some swell advisories coming up beginning on Tuesday through Wednesday. Moderate swells will be moving into Barbados, and that'll be fairly area-wide across the Windward Islands. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where Grenada has had a 30-plus mile-an-hour breeze for today. Some showers trying to develop at the hour across Trinidad and Tobago. And then, again, you guys live in these areas. Let me know what's been happening in the comments section below. ABC Islands have been virtually dry, breezy. Willemstad, about a 30-mile-an-hour breeze earlier today. You'll see some marine advisories down there for Curacao and Aruba. Again, just some swells, and for any swimmers, be very cautious of some rip currents that will be out there. Continuing to monitor the situation in the southern sides of Central America. This is an area that's going to be very wet. Panama continues with daily rain totals 2 to 3 inches, 50 to 75 millimeters, high 3-day totals, river rises, flooding areas of interest. Southern sides of Costa Rica, the same situation. Now, when I show you the forecast coming up over the next 5 days, this moisture is going to be building north. It's going to be building deeper into Nicaragua and Honduras and eventually trying to get its way all the way up to the Bay Islands and Belize. And that would be very beneficial rain. It has been exceptionally hot. It has been exceptionally dry. San Pedro Sula, Roatan on over towards San Ignacio, Belize City. Look at San Ignacio today up to 97. That is Fahrenheit. That is real temperature and feels like numbers that are in the triple digits Fahrenheit. So not a lot of rain in the forecast in the short term. Not bad situation for Cancun and Cozumel. It feels like temperatures that are outrageously high. Back over to the visible satellite imagery, an area that is beginning to get more rain at the hour. Central and the western sides of Jamaica. Again, very beneficial rain. My friends in Jamaica, let me know if you're seeing some of these showers. Best chance today, Linstead, Mandeville, Maypen north to Cambridge, Montego Bay, Negril, and Savlamar. Old Harbor, Kingston areas south and east. Lower chance, can't rule shower, but it's good to see the deeper cumulus nimbus beginning to build into this area, providing the opportunity for some scattered showers there. Cayman Islands could see a couple of showers as well. Little Cayman, Cayman Brac, a little bit better chance this afternoon. A few spotty showers developing at the hour over portions of Cuba. One area that's going to be quite interesting here as I bring the headlines back on and move on to the next situation, which is going to be the heat. Still a problem because it's the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, which are under heat advisories right now. Now look, the interesting thing about this is there are some big changes coming to the forecast for the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos as we move into Tuesday and Wednesday. But right now, it's still about the heat. The rain and the storms, which you see just to the north, haven't quite made it as of yet. Central Florida is going to get wet. This will eventually move into southeast Florida by Tuesday and Wednesday, and then that front will spill into the central and the northern Bahamas, taking away the heat and bringing in better shower and thunderstorm chances for places like Walker's Key, Grand Bahama, the Abacos, Eleuthera, New Providence, Andros, Cat Island, Long Island, even down towards Exuma. Speaking of the heat, by the way, I just want to highlight this. When I go back over to the heat index, Grand Turk today was over 100 as it feels like number. Not a fantastic situation there as far as the heat goes. Looking at Bermuda. Here is an area that is not only wet, but it's stormy. Temperatures only in the 70s. There's a thunderstorm advisory today for Bermuda. We're going to have some passing showers and some isolated storms. Not a great situation for boaters, elevated sea conditions as well. And this front is likely to stall out over the next couple days. As a matter of fact, I can show you that on the surface analysis. There's a weak front right now kind of slicing through Bermuda, but a stronger secondary front, which is still just emerging off the east coast of the United States and the Gulf. And that's the one to have more impacts for southern Florida and the Bahamas, even northern and western sides of Cuba as we move into Wednesday and Thursday. Back down real quickly into the Hispaniola area. Just want to highlight this for my friends in places like Santo Domingo and Bajarona and Lacay. Southern coastline, better showers. But I do expect some rain to redevelop in portions of the Samana Peninsula and Puerto Plata. Again, the fresh easterly is not as strong as areas off towards the east, but still enough where I expect to be some improving rain chances over the next couple of days. Okay, friends, as we move into the forecast, I appreciate you guys taking a quick second, liking, subscribing to the channel if you haven't as of yet. Again, you want these daily updates. You found your home. Appreciate all of our members as well. You want to send me a picture or video in your area. Easiest way to do that, mymeteomundo@gmail.com. Of course, include your name and where the video is from. If you're sending me a video, the email servers like us staying it under about 20 seconds. So over now to the marine forecast, and this will be part of the next story for you as well. So back over to the weather headlines. Marine conditions are going to be worsening. So when you look at these forecasts over the next couple of days for the marine interests, you're going to see maximum wave heights coming up in a lot of spots. We've got your water temperatures. I'll continue to monitor again. We're not near 80 degrees Fahrenheit in most areas. We're not supporting any tropical development whatsoever. But generally speaking, winds are going to be fresher in these areas over the next few days. So I am concerned overall about seeing additional marine interests moving in as far as some advisories and some statements. Now, we've already talked about 2 tropical waves that have moved across our area. But again, when you look at the water vapor imagery, this time of the year, they're fighting drier air. There's still some Saharan dust. Another thicker plume will be arriving next week as well. But, even though we're seeing more shower chances improving in the Eastern Caribbean, we're not going to see the totals be extremely astronomically high. Could be some localized heavier rain. We saw that in northwest Puerto Rico for today, but overall, we're still fighting drier air in the mid and the upper levels of the atmosphere. But the winds are going to continue to be brisk. When I show you these wind vectors, okay, so this is going to be your direction and then the magnitude of the wind. When you see the purples and the pinks, you're looking at 20 to 25 knot winds. So this is going to be fresh for the Antilles, the Windward Islands, the ABC Islands, Nueva Esparta, and then driving westerly deeper into the week. We'll catch some stronger winds in the southern coastline of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. This could also bring back the large wave and strong wind advisory for the southern coastlines of Puerto Rico. So my fishermen on the Morant and the Pedro Banks, be aware of that. Wind should be on the increase, especially beginning Tuesday and Wednesday, and then the winds will freshen up a little bit to the southwest sides of the Caribbean. But this is also going to push some of the moisture back to the north and to the west as well. So back over to the weather headlines, I want to take a look at the rain outlook. No, don't hit that button, Rusty. Hit this button instead and go on over to our rain outlook. So let me bring that up because there are areas that are going to see better rain chances the next few days. Some areas that desperately need the rain will finally be getting back into some better shower chances. We'll start in those areas here. Central America, Panama, Costa Rica, wet, flooding issues, concerns will continue to be with us. As I mentioned earlier, when we go deeper into the 5-day forecast, the moisture begins to build north and west. It's going to get wet across Nicaragua. It's going to start to get wet across Honduras. By the end of the week, we could even be talking about some chances of rain for Roatan, Utila, Guanaja, San Pedro Sula, La Ceiba, Dangriga, Belize City, Orange Walk, San Ignacio, all could finally see some rain chances. And again, that's good because it has been so hot and dry. Even Merida on the western side of the Yucatan could see a few showers on Thursday. If they do, it's the only day of the week that they'll be below 100 Fahrenheit for a daytime high. Not a bad forecast if you're headed to the coastal sections for Cancun and Cozumel and enjoying some of the beautiful beaches there. Cayman Islands, a few scattered showers locally. Again, the marine forecast isn't as bad in this part of the Caribbean, but still somewhat more elevated. Rain chances slightly higher across Jamaica. Again, especially central and western sides. Mandeville, Maypen, Black River, Treasure Beach, Savalluar, Cambridge, Montego Bay, Negril. Slightly higher than Kingston off towards the east. Hopefully a few showers for the Kingston area. But, again, when you go back and look at those 5-day forecasts, I've got a better chance for rain up towards Negril and Montego Bay. It's still passing showers, my friends. Maybe even a rumble of thunder. But overall, these fronts are not getting as far south, right? So now they're not getting into the western Caribbean. They're stalling out over the Bahamas. So now when we look at this forecast with our next front, it is the central and the northern Bahamas with the best chance for additional showers and storms. So Grand Bahama and the Abacos, even Bimini and Eleuthera, Miami towards Key West, Andros, down towards Exuma, Cat Island, and Long Island. I think that's about where the front's going to stall out midweek. So these are your higher chances here. It doesn't mean we're not going to sag in a few showers for the Acklands towards Turks and Caicos, including Grand Turk, but just not as much. We're south of the boundary overall. The front itself hangs up to the north. Now, an area that I think is going to be very active for the week ahead is Bermuda. When we look at these rain totals coming up, Bermuda could see 3-4 inches of rain through Friday. Just through Friday. So kind of averaging a half to 3/4, maybe even an inch of rain a day across the island. Wet, cool forecast. Temperatures there might stay in the 70s for a lot of afternoons. Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, Virgin Gorda, Tortola, Anegada, passing showers, strong easterlies. Could start to see some rip current statements being issued for these areas. That's going to include portions of the Leeward Islands as well. So Anguilla, St. Martin, Saba, St. Eustatius, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua, Barbuda. Smaller vessels might want to hang in the sheltered areas here. Again, these winds that were fresh today are likely to stay that way at least through Wednesday, improving conditions for at least the short term coming towards the end of the week. Scattered showers for Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, Barbados with the swells arriving tomorrow as well. The Grenadines, Grenada, TNT down towards Trinidad, a little bit lower latitude, a little bit better chance for a couple of showers there towards the end of the week. I don't expect a lot of rain for the ABC Islands over the next couple of days, unfortunately for us here. So, again, overall the rain outlook is going to be like that. When we take a look at your weather headlines, not weather headlines, when we take a look at your rain totals over the next 5 days, there's the front. 3-4 inches of rain in a couple of spots. Probably not as much overall for the Bahamas, but Bermuda, yes. Then you start to see the building rain chances up towards the coastal areas of Nicaragua, getting towards Honduras, but certainly Costa Rica and Panama, a little bit more towards portions of the Windward Islands, and there's just more deeper green for the Antilles in general, even through Hispaniola, where we're going to get a couple of areas, probably more than an inch of rain. Now, when it comes to significant wave heights, I mentioned the building wave heights and the large wave and strong wind advisories potentially returning towards Jamaica. It's just because, again, the easterlies stay very fresh, and the wave heights, again, building in, and will likely stay somewhat elevated through the eastern and central Caribbean as well. You know, the front is likely to also bring in some elevated swells for the exposed waters of the Atlantic, the east side of the Bahamas, but other sheltered locations look to be just fine. Northwest Caribbean is looking pretty good as well, and really most of Jamaica, northern sides should be pretty good. So what's next? Let's take a look at that. When I'm keeping an eye on the situation about what's next, a few things come to mind. So I'm going to go back out to the big perspective here real quickly and to talk about, again, I expect higher rain chances and totals in our northern areas. I expect improving rain chances through most of Central America, and then I expect there to see some marine issues the next couple of days out east. When we look at the Atlantic Basin in general, look, friends, we are still in May, so I still don't have big concerns about any tropical waves coming off of the West African coast, but they'll begin to become more prominent. And down into the southern latitude of the Atlantic Basin, we call this the intertropical convergence. So this begins to get a little bit more active through May, start to interact with a little bit more of the tropical waves, and if nothing else, more moisture comes along for the ride. But as always, on the northern side of this time of the year, they're going to be fighting the drier air and the Saharan dust, and that's always the battleground. So that's what I'm going to be watching as we move into next week. Friends, I appreciate you making Meteo Mundo a part of your daily routine. You let me know in the comment section below where you're viewing from. You have a question about the forecast, feel free to drop it in the comment section below. Have a great rest of your day, and I'm back tomorrow with your latest forecast.